I travel not to go anywhere, but to go. I travel for travel's sake. The great affair is to move. Let these words by Robert Louis Stevenson be both blessing and incentive as we celebrate the romance and pursuit of being on the road. Our journey begins in Negros Island. Known as the sugar capital of the Philippines, Negros is bisected into two provinces, Occidental and Oriental. The whole island was formerly called Buglas by its inhabitants until Spanish explorers renamed it Negros after the many dark-skinned aborigines they sighted as they scouted the coast. Our first destination is the capital of Negros Occidental, Bacolod City. From Manila, it can be reached via daily flights of the Philippine Airlines, or by sea through Super Ferry, which has ships sailing to the city several times a week. Upon arrival in Bacolod, one can't help but notice the highly urbanized state of the city. Bacolod is, no doubt, the commercial and industrial heart of Negros Occidental. Negros Occidental has the most number of cities in the country, and though thoroughly urbanized, the population density of the whole province, roughly 2.5 million, is only a fraction of Metro Manila's. Thus, traffic is not a problem. Getting in and around the city should also be a jiffy, with a profusion of vehicles to choose from, whether it be jeeps, taxis, vans for hire, minibuses, or the Ceres liners that can take you out to the neighboring cities and provinces, including Cebu, via roll-on, roll-off ferry. The languages spoken in Negros are also divided into two. Here, Hiligaynon and Ilonggo are the vernacular, though many understand Tagalog, and English is widely understood. The first thing to do in Bacolod is eat. Manukan Country, a renowned restaurant strip, is a first stop. Here, government officials and office managers eat alongside students and dock workers, summoned by the province's famous dish, chicken inasal. Though chicken inasal appears to be ordinary grilled chicken, one soon finds out that no two inasal dishes in Manukan Country, or in Bacolod for that matter, taste the same. No two establishments had the same recipe or even the same sauce. Some even use different kinds of marinade for the chicken, with additional ingredients like honey, soda, or wine. After having your fill of inasal, it's time for an equally appropriate dessert. The Negrans are also known for their sweet tooth. The bounty of the province's vast sugarcane fields is made evident in their delicacy, the piaya. Piaya is made from two thin slices of dough that sandwich a layer of muscovado. Muscovado, or sugar of color, also sweetens other Negrense delicacies like butterscotch, bañadas, ampao, barquillos, and broas. These delicacies and the production of refined sugar and its byproducts, like acetylene, fertilizer, and rum, form a multi-million peso industry, making up a majority of the province's income, thereby earning the province its nickname, Sugarland. Many casual visitors have been enraptured by the cornucopia of pastries and sweets in Negros Occidental. When you've been thoroughly satisfied, it's time to check out the sights. Though it's not a small town, Bacolod is excellent for tours on foot, so be sure to bring a good pair of walking shoes. The Negros Museum, located at the old agricultural building, is an excellent place to get a feel of Negrense culture and history. Different galleries illustrate the impact of foreign cultures on Negros Island, like the Spanish, American, Chinese, Japanese, French, and the English, who are most known for introducing the technology of mills into Negros. 5 de Noviembre. The gallery commemorates the surrender of Spanish colonial forces to Negros Occidental's revolutionaries on November 5, 1898. The victories made all the more stirring since the revolutionaries used cleverly made mock arms that included rifles and bayonets, bamboo cannons, and black-painted coconuts to look like cannonballs to fool the enemy into thinking that they were a fierce, heavily armed militia. The colonizers eventually capitulated, only to find out later that they had been tricked. But by then, it was too late. The museum also houses an extensive collection of folk toys from around the world. Strolling around the Bacolod Plaza and the nearby San Sebastian Cathedral with its century-old bells is a walk through history with a sense of modern life. At the end of such a walk, one realizes that Bacolod has all the comforts of urbanization without the stress. After a first busy day, one can choose to either stay at one of the hotels located within the city, or retire to a more relaxing location at a farm resort located about half an hour's drive from downtown Bacolod. Bacolod is also famed for its night market, one that doubles as a restaurant strip. This parallel setup is dubbed Pala Pala, after the process of shoveling fresh catch off the fishing boats. Here one can have one's pick of seafood at the market. Take it to the Tulian just a few feet away and have it cooked any way one wants. Just another of the gastronomic delights of Negros Occidental. Bacolod is, however, just the tip of the iceberg. A 2-hour road trip northeast to Sagay City brings one to a 10-minute boat ride to Carbon Reef. With a little packed lunch, a picnic at the sandbar after a swim in the crystal waters can be made a spectacular experience. Along the way, also take time to notice the old steam locomotives used during the early 1900s to transport sugar throughout Negros. Once owned and operated by the sugar barons, many of these dormant trains dot the landscape. A few are still used to bring sugar home to the refineries along with modern equipment. You can even hitch a ride on one of these iron dinosaurs, preferably during the months of October and April, the mailing and harvest season, but just for a few kilometers. Pushing onward, back southwest to Silay City, where local potters fire up their kilns and make poetry on clay. Also an offshoot of the sugarcane industry and the rich volcanic soil, the clay that these potters use is taken from ant hills or mounds that are found beside sugarcane fields. It is the saliva of these distinctive white-colored ants that make the clay sticky, creating a priced medium for potters. From Salai, it's a short trip south to Talisay City. Here we trace more of fiery Negrense history and come upon the ancestral houses of General Aniceto Lacson, one of the celebrated leaders of the 5 de Noviembre revolt and the president of the short-lived but significant cantonal government of the Republic of Negros. And Tana Dikang Lizares, an ardent municipal captain who took over her husband's civic duties with stern confidence after her husband's untimely death. We end our last leg in Negros Occidental by taking a minibus out to the municipality of Murcia, 17 kilometers from Bacolod, heading for the mountainside resort of Mambucal. Mambucal is so named because of the many brooks, springs, and waterfalls that permeate its territory. Getting to the falls can be an adventure in itself, by a canopy walk if one opted to. Mambucal is also one of several jump-off points for mountaineers on their way to challenge the heights of fabled Mount Canloon. Its feature, however, is its medicinal sulfuric waters that rise up from steam vents around the resort. With the last dip into the healing waters of Mambucal, we bid goodbye to Negros Occidental as we cross overway down southeast for a 3-hour ride to Negros Oriental, and thence to the city of Dumaguete. Without a doubt, the port of Dumaguete is one of the premier destinations in Negros Oriental. Known as the City of Gentle People, Dumaguete takes its name from the word dumagit, meaning to snatch. The place was frequently visited by pirates during the Spanish era, raiding and abducting the fair maidens that the settlement was known for. Crossing over to the eastern side of Negros also means crossing a language divide. Here, Cebuano and Ilonggo is the pervasive language, but like in Negros Occidental, everybody speaks English. Hence, getting lost is unlikely and getting misunderstood even more so. Dumaguete is also the home of a huge student population, most of whom attend classes at Silliman University. Established in 1901 as a small institute, Silliman is now a sprawling 35-hectare campus. At Rizal Boulevard's quarter of bars and clubs, this burgeoning youth population finds an arena for play. Dumaguete nurtures a thriving music and entertainment scene behind the veneer of provincial calm. A twilight counterpoint to the city's laid-back, rustic atmosphere during the day or a rainy night. Sea-geared ecotourism in Dumaguete, like whale and dolphin spotting in Bai City, along with the traditional diving and snorkeling, is such a favorite activity that it has grown into an industry all its own. But if you're looking to go deeper, way deeper into the waters, one of the foremost dive attractions lies at the beach off the Atlantis Dive Resort, 20 minutes from the city center.
Diving is our main business. With Apo Island, one of the best dive sites, I would say, in the world, 30 minutes away by boat. Besides diving and water sports, people can enjoy the surrounding of Dumaguete. The mountains are very close. It's basically 10 minutes, 15 minutes away from here, the mountain starts. So you have waterfalls, you have highland lakes, you have caves, you have all the things which you can expect from tropical mountains.
2-hour voyage from Dumaguete via Supercat or one of the ferries is Cebu City. As the second oldest city in the Philippines, Metro Cebu practically vibrates with the hum and neon of urban life. With its own international airport and a port that is just as busy, accessibility is one of Cebu's most prized aspects. It is, however, a hallmark of Cebuanan cleverness that they have hidden all the best spots away from the chaos. So we head to the northernmost point of Cebu. 3 hours away by land, at Daan Bantayan, lies Villa Milagros, one of the most exclusive and private beachfronts in all of Cebu. Villa Milagros isn't actually a resort. It's a mansion owned by one of the wealthiest couples in Cebu, transformed into an exclusive tourist destination. The main house is an astonishing melange of Mediterranean, Roman, French, Spanish, and Filipino architecture. Mariquita Salimbangon Yung, a noted humanitarian and one of the fated women of Cebu, is responsible for opening up this grandiose complex to the public.
The only thing is my children never like to come, maybe because there's no fun when there's not so many people. So whenever I want to take them, I have to also take their friends along. Plus, so many friends want to come, and of course they can only come if I invite them. So many inquiries. A lot of them ask me, why don't you open it to public and share your house? Finally, my son told us, Mom, how many times do we go there? And it's such a waste. He convinced my husband. So I was very happy when he finally said yes. Actually, I said, okay, I told my architect, I want a Filipino house. And as he was in the drawing stages, I saw some magazines, Mediterranean magazines, and that's how I got my inspiration. But there are still touches of Filipino.
Another jewel awaits as you travel 2 hours away to Maya Port. Board a pump boat for a half-an-hour cruise and make landfall at Malapascua Island. Secluded within the embrace of a lagoon used as a boat sanctuary during storms, lies the Mangrove Oriental Resort. Here, through a swift flurry of development, entrepreneur Josephine Macazo built a virtual Arcadia of flora and bounty that can only be described as exceptional.
I always have a fancy of hills and shoreline and the sea. So when I came to this place, in fact, this is the last part of the island that I was shown, okay? And somebody, husband and wife from this island, showed me this one and they told me this is for sale. There's nothing here but a forested, thickly forested area when you cannot even go up and survey. I just stayed in front of the beach.
Through careful landscaping, strategic construction, and the naturalist's eye for play, Mangrove Oriental is a resort that pays homage to various international residential styles, complete with knickknacks flown in from the countries themselves. Malapascua, which literally means Bad Christmas, was so named after a ship of Spaniards took shelter on the island at the height of a storm and subsequently had to spend the holidays there. Malapascua has been dubbed as the new rising diver's paradise in Southeast Asia, and a cursory search of the net will establish its popularity. Not surprising, since a number of shipwrecks are strewn around the island's waters, from pre-war Japanese warships to tragic passenger ferries struck by typhoons. Couple that with an unusual abundance of thresher sharks living in the nearby Monad Shoal, plus the protected marine reserve of Gato Island, where black and white banded sea snakes dart in and out of the shallows, and you have a diver's dreamland. There is no television or cable, and most of the dive resorts lack air conditioning. Supplies like water are rationed and are all brought in from the Cebu mainland. There isn't much to go on by way of creature comforts, so be sure to buy what you need before you leave Mayaport. A good sunblock is requisite. With that out of the way, you can begin enjoying the unadulterated natural wonders of the island and its waters. With a rented outrigger, you can cruise the many small islands and isolated beaches. For a small fee, depending on the size of the boat and for how long, the boatmen will only be too glad to take a break from their regular routes. Or you can explore the fishing village of Gimbantayan, where the art of boat making has been passed from one generation to the next. Where better to end a tour of Negros and Cebu than in one of the last near pristine locations on Earth? Here, on Malapascua Island, one journey ends and makes way through 1,000 others, begun and completed in dreams. To connect with the spirit of the place, to reclaim the adventure of movement, born out of the belief that something out there in the immensity still lies undiscovered. Let us find it.